Who is Muhammad Ali? Why is he famous? Why did he have two names, Cassius Clay in his early years, and later Muhammad Ali? And what is he doing now? Muhammad Ali was, of course, a famous boxer, a world champion. But he fought for Black Americans too. He stopped boxing in 1981 because he was sick. But today, he is fighting for peace in the world. The Red and White Bike. The story starts with a boy's new red and white bike. It is 1954. Joe Martin is a policeman in Louisville, Kentucky, but he teaches boxing in a gym in the evenings too. One day, two young black boys come into the gym. One of them sees Joe. "Excuse me," he says. "Are you Joe Martin, the policeman?" "That's right," Joe says. "What's your problem?" "It's my new bike," the boy says. "It's red and white. It was in front of this building, and now it's not there." The young boy is unhappy and very angry. "I'm going to find the boy with my bike. Then I'm going to whoop him," he says again and again. Joe Martin smiles. The boy is about 12 years old. He is tall with long legs, and he is thin. "Can you box?" Joe asks. "No, I can't box," the boy says. "But I want to whoop that boy." Joe smiles again. "Come here to the gym first. Maybe I can teach you." "Okay," the boy says. "I'd like that." "Good," Joe says. "What's your name?" "Cassius," the boy says. "Cassius Clay." Joe doesn't know it, but in only 10 years, that young black boy is going to be a world boxing champion. After that, Cassius went to Joe Martin's gym 6 days a week. He was strong and quick on his feet, and he started boxing with the other boys in the gym. He didn't box for money, of course. He boxed because he liked it. He usually won his fights. He was good. But he wasn't a good student at school. He had a lot of problems. He was a good boy from a good family. He was friendly, and his teachers liked him. But schoolwork was very difficult for him. The only important thing in the world for him, then, was boxing. In 6 years, he had 108 fights, and he won 100 of them. Then, in 1960, he went to Rome and boxed for the United States. The Olympic Games. In 1960, Cassius was only 18 years old. He was in Rome for the Olympic Games. He beat every opponent, and he won an Olympic medal for the United States. He was an Olympic boxing champion, and he didn't take off his Olympic medal for weeks, night or day. At home in Louisville, he was famous. But he was black, and in Louisville, in the 1960s, there were places for white people and places for black people. In many hotels, theaters, stores, and buses, black people didn't sit with white people. One day, Cassius wanted to buy a drink in a white store. It was a problem. "Whites only," they said. "But I'm the Olympic boxing champion. I'm famous," Cassius said. "Whites only," they answered. "Go away." Cassius was very unhappy about that. "I'm going to be the world champion," he said. "I'm going to be important. Then white people are going to sit down with me and listen to me." After the Olympic Games, Cassius started to fight for money. Boxing wasn't a game now. It was his work. He moved from Louisville to Miami. He went to a new gym in Miami, and he had new friends. One of them was Angelo Dundee. He worked with Cassius in the gym and was always with him for his fights. The First Fight with Sonny Liston. In 1964, Cassius Clay was 22 years old. He was tall and strong. After 19 fights and 19 wins, he wanted to fight the world champion, Sonny Liston. Clay always moved very quickly in his fights. He danced here and there in the ring. His opponents were big, strong men, but they lost because their punches usually didn't hit him. But Liston was the world champion and a very strong boxer. The newspapers in the U.S. said, "Liston is going to win this fight. Clay is very young. Liston is going to kill him." Only 3 newspapers said, "Maybe Clay can beat the champion." The fight was in Miami, and it was on television in a lot of American theaters, too. Young Cassius Clay wanted to be famous and make a lot of money. Before his fights, he played a game. He talked and talked. Usually boxers were quiet men, but Clay's mouth was always open. Before every fight, he said to the people and the newspapers, "I'm beautiful. I'm good. I'm quick and strong. I'm going to beat that man in 2 or 3 or 4 rounds." White people were angry with him. They didn't like this young black man with the big mouth. "Kill him!" they said to his opponents. "Close that big mouth for him!"